Because my father was under the impression that they just called the Quanways and said, find this idiot, but they actually responded.
Yeah. Scary, isn't it?
Hey, you know what? This is what I got for helping my friend with her Social Security and her housing. I'm still gonna get another case of appeal her housing, but I'm so pleased to help me with that.
Yeah, I had one of those. It was pretty nice, but I ran it through the, without thinking, I ran it through the scanner at the airport and it corrected it. Yeah.
Wow, they fired it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, good. I thought they didn't have that at the train stations.
I'm pretty suspicious, so I usually have to go through two or three times, you know. So. Probably about the third time and fried the whole motherboard.
Enjoy a stimulating read on the blog page from one of our many twisted personalities. Show your love for 990WPOV.com by picking up some great merchandise on the shop page. Spend your days for the treasures 990WPOV.com.
Yeah, just getting closer while we're talking, and then maybe pull back a little bit when we play. But you'll be able to.
That's what she said. Pull back.
That's what your mother said last night, Rebecca.
You know, I could have a lot of this section in a while, but my roommate's, her boyfriend was stayed over, so I could have her over. She's just too much, and I said, blah, blah, blah.
It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever.
Doesn't, but you had to be there. Because I wasn't. I was there, but, you know, she wasn't.
Should have took it on to Burnside Park and got a tent.
Well, yeah, now if I had a vehicle, or if I had enough cash to say, hey, you know what, let's go out and have a couple of beers and see, you know, but,
Truck stop. Next to the truck stop. That hotel's only $30 a night.
oh, yeah, actually, I used to break there, I played, thing, come and play great. Plus, me and my girlfriend, I went out with an 80-some-year-old for, let's see, about 3 years.
What?
Yeah. One of the best relationships. No, real. She's an old lady, man. For real. But it just happened. We started out at 6 and became a relationship. So this way. Do I look like
your 80-year-old mother?
No, not my mother. No, but well, she was the same age with me. She was great. She was good.
Why aren't we on the air with these things?
Well, you know what? Well, that's fine. I should put the large bubbles out in that.
Yeah, underwater.
I do that. It's got this setting right here, just bubbles coming up over there.
It's the same set of Chuckles the Clown has.
Hey everybody, I'm Tony Jones, and welcome to the Tony Jones Show. People are willing to take the risk. If we could probably heard by Tony, the wedding like with Tony, if you don't go with the flow, you're anti-American, therefore, something. The Tony Jones Show features rock and roll, secular, rock and roll, parties, starts right now.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good now. Song makes me want to learn how to river dance. Although I don't think my downstairs neighbors will be too excited about that. Friends, the time for mediocrity in broadcasting is over. My name is Tony Jones, and you are listening to the Tony Jones Show, your destination for talk and rock. With me, as always, is my co-host, Mr. George Garner. George, good evening.
Good evening, and good evening.
Happy Halloween and happy Day of the Dead to you. Of course, going into, can you believe, I know I say this every week, but can you believe we're going into November of 2011? 2012, right around the corner. And on this very station, people think that the world is going to end in 2012. So, well, no, we'll see, I guess.
As a betting man, my bet is to lay odds that it won't. It'll be the same miserable place that it was. All wonderful, depending on your outlook.
And that's what I've been talking about with folks, having the is the world going to end discussion, is that every generation has thought that the world's going to end. Right back to the days of Christ, people thought that the world was going to end. Actually, I read a pretty interesting book not too long ago about the end of the world, and it was called Armageddon, 1980 ? So, I mean, how did that work out?
Obviously, it seems over here from some parallel universe where the world did end in 90 ?
And of course, well, a lot of people that listen to Motley Crue and Quiet Riot, the world did end in 1980 ? But there's, of course, the famous Amish cult out in Pennsylvania who their leader decides every couple of years the world's going to end, get rid of all your worldly possessions, we're going to go up to the top of the mountain, we're going to greet the Messiah. And then they get up there, they hang out, and they're like, oh! And this has happened about 3 times out in Pennsylvania, and finally they threw the guy out.
Yeah, because I didn't stop them from just pushing the end of the world up a couple of years each time.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So, maybe next time.
Okay, so fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times. Yeah.
Yeah, all of a sudden the guy kind of just like disappeared, and I wanted to bring this up real quick, moving on to something a little more brighter, if you will. George, I don't know about you, but I could use an extra $100,000. And the folks at the Rhode Island Foundation, which is a foundation I'm involved with on the board of a couple of scholarships, so this is an upstanding foundation. It's not some kind of like crazy fly-by-night scam.
Okay, but why did they say extra $100,000?
Well,
does that imply that I have $100,000 already? And
This is what's going on with the Rhode Island Foundation. They're willing to award up to 2 people $100,000 a year for the next 3 years for ideas that will dramatically improve the life of the ailing ocean state. And the good thing is that up front, they just want just like kind of a general overview of what you want to do.
Okay.
And then after that, if they're into it, then you come in with your full business plan and you say, this is what I'm going to do for the state.
so basically, in theatrical terms, it would be just the basic story treatment first.
Yeah, just kind of like, I want to open, whatever.
Okay.
And I guess basically they're looking for entrepreneurs.
Well, that money's as good as ours, right?
Well, I mean, what can we open?
Our
I
money's,
haven't got to that point yet, but I don't think they're going to give us, a cool $100K a year to hang around and chat.
well,
Not that that's not worth it, but I mean, I'm talking about in their view.
yeah, their perspective might be a little different, but, I don't know, again, if we put our minds to it, we'll think of something.
But if anybody out there is interested in applying for this fellowship, it began Tuesday. The deadline is December 23rd, and you can go to rifoundation.org/innovation.
So that's the length of time to submit your proposal.
That's for
and-
your just like,
Just
hey,
the
this is
proposal.
what I want to do. Yeah, and I would assume 2012 they're going to narrow that down. But I mean,
Okay.
$100,000 for 3 years. I mean, you could really do some serious damage with that.
Okay,
So.
the minute this broadcast is over, 12 Heinekens and I start.
It's too bad we couldn't, use that to get the Gansett Brewery back in Rhode Island, but I don't think they're looking for that.
Somebody's already thought.
Here's what we're going to do with our $100,000 a year. We're going to bring alcohol to Rhode Island.
We could both,
More so.
we could commit to drinking $100,000 worth of, as a scene or a community.
Yeah, that's true. And then just reimburse them the money. Or, with all that alcohol, you get 5 cents each for the recyclables, right? So,
Very true.
maybe you could possibly break even.
Well, there's one idea right there. Just bring it. Rhode Island does not have that, turn in the bottles for the
Yeah,
recycling.
no, that's true. I know. It's pretty neat the way they do it. When we traveled up in New York, I believe it was over the summer. I stopped by like a Stop and Shop or whatever, and they have like each Stop and Shop has a little kiosk there. You feed your bottles in there, then you get a receipt for what you have, and then you go and get that money from the cashier. It's pretty interesting. But has Rhode Island gotten that bad where we're as a state we're going to end up with hobo-like tendencies? Has
Well,
Rhode
actually-
Island gotten that bad?
Well, yes, it has. Actually, it gets even worse because, from what I understand, a couple of people over the years have put forward the idea of, deposit bottles and things like
Yeah.
that, and it's actually been voted down several
Is it
times.
because of how much power our luxurious Johnston landfill has over politics? Is that maybe the issue?
Possibly, or else there's a strong hobo lobby from New York.
Well, you got that hobo lobby. They really are.
I mean, they took the squeegees away from them. They took the, they got
They come to town with that. What's that thing? What's it called when they have a stick with like a handkerchief at the end? That's what I think of when I think of a hobo.
yeah, not a squeegee, and not, but yeah.
I think we mentioned it a few weeks ago when we were talking Halloween, but that was my favorite costume as a kid, and it's totally politically incorrect now. But I love to dress up as a hobo.
Why is a hobo politically incorrect?
They're not. You can't call hobos hobos. You can't call midgets midgets. You can't call gays faggots.
Well, so what do we call the hobo? Wandering penniless engineers?
They are economically challenged individuals.
Gotcha. But how do we differentiate them from like the welfare scum that sit in front of the TV?
Well, that's.
I mean, that seems to be the
I
big
guess
two.
one lives indoors and one lives outdoors, right?
Well, that's true, yeah. But, yeah.
And one's looking for vittles and riding the rail, and the other one is watching Jersey Shore.
Yeah, then there's the other variety that probably carries their cardboard boxes on their back like turtles.
That is something I would pay to see. Maybe we could have WBOB could sponsor it. Maybe we could go down to Broad Street and have Hobo Olympics. Although the guy that had bum fights got thrown in jail, so I guess maybe we shouldn't go down that road.
Yeah, so we will not submit that idea.
That's not going to win us $100K. I want to talk cancer real quick. I know. As you guys know, as I mentioned last week, tomorrow night I'm going to shave up real nice, and then I'm going to retire my razor for 1 month's time, all to bring money and a little bit of awareness to prostate cancer. For those of you who don't know, other than skin cancer, prostate cancer is the most common cancer in American men. We're going to have 240,000 new cases will be diagnosed in 2011. 3,300 of those people will pass away. 1 in 6 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and prostate cancer is the second largest leading cancer death in American men, only behind lung cancer. So, if anybody is interested in donating and they want to track my progress, mobro.co, mobro.co/Tony Jones RI. Every little bit helps for the Prostate Cancer Foundation, $5, $10, and I'm going to look god awful by the end of this experience. I mean,
And we will photographically document.
well, yeah. I'm going to shave up tomorrow. We'll get a picture of that up. You can follow it on the Facebook, and it's just I'm a scary, scary man
I'm not sure.
in my natural
I'm not
state.
sure if cancer is worth this. I'm not sure if the Black Plague
I
is
don't
worth
know. All I can picture is not the actual Unabomber Ted Kaczynski, but when Will Ferrell would play Ted Kaczynski on Saturday Night Live.
Right.
That's what I'm going to look like. So I hope we at least raise a little something for the Prostate Cancer Foundation for me to.
Well, we'll raise a little bit of noise right now.
It's a good thing I'm not a single man where I'm out there trying to get laid on a regular basis because I would be screwed.
Speaking of that, has your new Live Another Half approved of this experiment?
Oh, she is not. She is not because it's going to hit right in the holiday, in the
Right.
Thanksgiving holiday. So, I'm going to go home to my folks and to her family, and I have some charitable obligations this month, and I'm going to look god awful, but it's all for a good cause. I've had a little bit of family history with prostate cancer, so this is.
I think every family has.
It's really, and like we mentioned last week, a lot of great musicians have suffered from prostate cancer, and if you think you got something going on, and as embarrassing as it is, and maybe you don't want to go for the exam, please, if you're listening, you think you have something going down, go get it checked out. It's going to be worth it.
Take it in the ash of the future.
So let's get into some rock and roll. Then we're going to talk with our guest, Mr. Erp Snurple. He's going to play live for you right here on the program. But before that, here's a great band. They're actually from Australia called Zombie Ghost Train. This song is called Next to the King. And then we'll chat with Mr. Erp Snurple right here on the Tony Jones Show, 990 WBOB.com.
Hello? Yes. What's up? Just doing a show. What's up?
In the comic relief one of these months, they should have a month dedicated to humorous and non-dangerous disease.
Like acne.
You know,
I think it was 3.
Vagina whiteheads.
I think it was 3.
That 70s bush. Acne. Acne.
How about a month dedicated to STDs?
I had that month. It was called college.
Do you get a trace of what disease?
Big guy.
Grab that something, huh?
STD grab it. And that was Australia's Zombie Ghost Train with Next to the King. Just want to mention real quick, we started off the program this week with a band called Black 47, a little Irish funk for you, a song called Funky Kaylee right here on the program. A song that makes me want to river dance just because you just have to move your legs. You don't have to do anything else. I mean,
I can do that.
if there was one form of dancing that would work out for me,
Slowly and uncoordinatedly, but I
it
can
would
do
be
that.
that. I want to get to our guest, Mr. Erp Snurple. You may know him as Erp Anthony. Good evening. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, good evening, Tony.
You've been playing for years and years and years, and I mean, how have you seen things change in local music over the years? Because I mean, you've been around.
Yeah, I remember like the original Hippos, Living Room, and all that. But that has always been good for original music. Like there was a time, I guess, when they used to do Sound of Lights. So, we started off with the rock band, and when disco came in, it became disco. So it was fun. Yeah, it changed.
I gotta say, you were smart going from being in a rock band to doing Sound and Lights. That's probably the best way to transition from rock and roll to disco. I mean,
yeah, well, yeah. But it was the same. It was the same band that I started out with. But when I stopped playing drums and just decided to do the Sound and Lights, we started up and down the East Coast circuit, just as clubs, lots of clubs. It was great.
I was born a little after the disco era, but you guys survived through it. I can't even imagine.
Well,
what was around
great.
like in the disco era?
Well, the music was good. It wasn't like spinning records disco. It was great live music. Patti LaBelle, Bee Gees. I mean, it was good.
I think the way it is
I'd
too,
like
like
that.
for kids with techno, where it's like if you want to get laid, you're gonna have to listen to a certain amount of techno to go to the dance clubs because that's where the chicks are. I imagine that's the way it must have been for disco. If you wanted to get laid, you had to get into some disco.
Well, if you wanted to get laid by a certain segment of society, yes. I mean, I endured the disco craze in Johnston.
Oh Jesus Christ!
What's some of the clubs?
Oh no!
Some of the clubs, fucking Johnston High School was the club.
Oh, okay. See, I'm.
I mean, there may have been 4 of us in the entire school that I used to sneak out to the smoking area, in dungarees and t-shirts.
Oh, I
to
can't
try
even
to avoid
imagine.
the experience.
I can't imagine.
So you
what do
were
in
hippie?
disco.
You stayed as a kind of like cool guy eating?
I stayed as non-disco.
Non-disco.
And don't get me wrong. I mean, in hindsight, a lot of the music was good,
Yeah, and
but it's the lifestyle that some of us couldn't stomach. I mean, how much polyester can you find?
How much cocaine? can you
and the big heels, the shoes, the boots, the clothes. We did a club up in Lake George, New York, and there was a gentleman who had lights on, flashing lights, blinking lights all over his polyester suit. And, yeah, it was funny. It was great.
But
Great times.
things for you have kind of come full circle, right? Because
Well,
you were, maybe I don't want to say it, but maybe one of the original hippies in the scene, and now that kind of hippie thing is back.
Well, actually, I started way before that. I started playing in the late '60s, so really, I've seen a big change. We went from playing like Quonset, Sierra Club, anything from nightclubs to bar mitzvahs, anything we could get a gig at. And during high school, I couldn't get a night off. So there's been a big change as far as like in my life, anyways, going from playing out every night, making good money for the time, and now.
That's how I know I've made it to the top of my game when I play a bar mitzvah.
Absolutely.
Do you want to give us a live one, and we'll chat a little bit more?
Okay.
All right. Cool. Yeah, just kind of. All right, ladies and gentlemen, performing live for you on the Tony Jones Show, Mr. Erp Snurple.
We're going to start off with Lost in a Place. Lost in a place. Space to trace. my path. Lost in a place of space to trace my path. Found myself inside this plastic bubble. Found myself inside this plastic bubble. All right. I tried to quit so many times. Some people think I can make up my mind. Sorry,
Bert Snow
man. Yeah, my peg is coming popping right out of there.
Yeah, I almost lost an eye to a guitar.
Wow. You know what? I'm just gonna push this thing and shove this thing back in there.
Let's listen to another track, then we'll take a break, then we'll have more with Earth Snurple performing live for you. Here is a band called Gay Black Republicans. This song is called Kirk Kennedy, right here on the Tony Jones Show.
Oh, jeez.
Boing!
Yeah. Well, you know what? I did get it back to where it was, but. Oh, jeez.
See, with your style, though, people probably thought you were doing that on purpose. So
You know,
can't
yeah,
really-
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but once it throws me off. I don't even look at that a string that's too far right there. I guess I played with that. I don't know. I don't remember playing with that string.
Hey.
You can glue. I'll glue the thing in.
Well, just do low tuning Sabbath-like on it, so there's no tension.
You know, it's funny, too, because I just took an acoustic guitar out of my car. Yeah.
That's it, just tune it low, so there's no tension. So it doesn't pop.
I gotta keep it rest. I mean, half of all, I don't know.
Yeah.
By the way,
I think I don't even know if I'm tuned 440. Thanks, right now, something on. Can you tape? Oh yeah, duct tape. Musician's dream, right?
Yeah, I know. Fix them all my cars with duct tape.
I think I'll just try to complete this off. Start reading the issues of which I won't. Yeah, I've done that. I went to the Qual. Crowded big time.
Yeah, that place was.
Back, remember?
Used to on Monday nights, right?
Oh yeah, what's the name of the band? Postcoital. They were like a crazy band. In fact, this guy, I think his name is Zeke, he was supposed to be George Bush's like 13 cousins, 13 cousins that were supposed to move out. And when the guitar was whacked, I just bought it, couldn't get it to him. I wrote acoustic, so I had my recorder, just put the beat going. Just did a cappella.
Yeah.
It worked.
That was acapella.
The Rockefeller. No, oh,
I think my fart caused the tension, John.
out.
Yeah, that's the solution, just find another, just find another position.
It's all right. I work around it. That's when they used to get my guy very quicker, but,
We have,
actually, I'll see what we do.
we're sponsored by Knucklehead Strings, and we get strings all the time, so if you ever need a couple packs.
Hey, wait, it's not so much the string. I thought I had an extra peg.
Oh, it was a peg that flew out? All right,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm trying to think of what I can stick in there right now. I'll be
Pen?
all right. Maybe. Time?
Yeah.
Let's take a piece of ribbon. Sticky edge on it.
I think it much better off just use different fingering on the
Yeah,
cords.
let me try something. You're right. That's why I checked. You're right. That's why I checked. I'll just use that. It works though. You know what? I think it's a jinx. The last time I played the
Yeah,
I
that's
broke the
right.
string.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was different. And I don't normally do that. I think, well, that's because I don't normally do anything because I'm not normal.
When it comes to arts and entertainment in Southern New England, it's not just playing, it's working. Motif, your source for everything you need from theater to music, food and movies. Motif has samples, reviews, insight, and more. It's the place for travel, motif, and Monday at Motif Records. Are you tired of hearing the same old things? You might be suffering from a case of radio repetition, which affects your brain's thinking. That's theater or radio repetition. So listen to Off the Radar throughout the day, every Wednesday night at 7
You gay. You could play those next two. I think they're only like a minute each. So.
Got you. This one out?
Yeah. Yep.
It'll work. I don't work for this night. That's the thing. Even though I'm not broke, but I don't work. Forget it. But I am broke.
Just put people that work to the ropes.
Right. So I think if I want to work and be broke, I could not work and be
If you're
broke.
gonna be broke, yeah.
No, yeah,
You're gonna
right.
be broke with lots of free time.
You know what? That's exactly.
Hey.
Hey. Yeah. Little Chippy. I was playing that Jericho a lot.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, but you know what? It was something. You know, Mike Sosa. Yeah, must know Mike Sosa. Copycats. This will be good. Is this, I can't tell if this is flat or if he's got anything on it.
It's radio, you can tell. They want you to take it to the next. Go to the park. You want the park? I want to go to football this day. You got like sandbags or something like that? Yeah, I can. And that was the Donnas, the ultimate in lo-fi. That was a song called "I Want to Be a Unabomber." Of course, that was some old Donnas, which is funny because I remember at the time when the Donnas kind of first came out, I was on 91.5 on the FM dial, broadcasting out of Coventry, Rhode Island, and the Donnas were sending around like kind of handwritten, sharpied albums. It was actually tapes at the time. They were mailing those around to different radio stations, and I happened to get a few handwritten ones that they were kind of putting out themselves on their own little record labels. Pretty neat to see.
Another one where they came from?
Yeah, that was some of their old stuff too. Yeah, back then they were band. You know, they're still for a band that has become quote unquote big, which they're not really, but they've kind of stuck to their guns over the years.
Pretty
But
consistent.
it was pretty. Their stuff back then was pretty lo-fi. Then before that, we heard the Misfits of Hybrid Moments. Before the break, last time we chatted, I left you with a band called Gay Black Republicans. Love that name. A song called Surf Kennedy. You're listening to the Tony Jones Show right here on 990WBOB.com. George Garner is here, as always, co-hosting with me.
Yes, I am.
We have our guest, Herb Anthony, also known as Herb Snurple. I got to ask, where did you get the name? Well, maybe we already covered it, one of the original hippies in the scene, but where did you get the name Herb Snurple?
Well, because when I was doing the Song and Light thing up in upstate New York, we did a club where there was a balcony, and they used to call me Wired Earp, the man in the sky. So, somehow I just come up with the last name of Snorkel somewhere, and that's it. And I kept
The recording, there's a full name though, right? The
Oh,
recording
yes.
I have of yours is,
Earp Snorkel, the rabble-rousing Pleiadian dragons.
see, I didn't even try to say that because I would have messed it up.
Right, but the astonishing thing is that he came by this name during the disco era,
Yeah.
not the hippie era.
I know, that's
But I was still like, just because I was working for a disco band, I was never changed. I was always me. Oh, yeah, it was a very strange situation.
So you
It
maintained
sounds
your
strange.
dirty hippie integrity
Yes.
in the midst of,
Every year.
That's what
I
we
mean,
need more of these days.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I got a song that my brother and I wrote back in '74 called a protest song, and that's remained the same.
It's funny how things move in algorithms for music, and I hope you won't find this offensive, but when I listen to your music, I want to either roll a big fat one, or I want to take a couple hits of acid. And I wanted to know if counterculture, drug culture, maybe outside art has kind of influenced you over the years as far as your music goes.
I kind of thought that was obvious. But absolutely. I mean, I remember starting in the hippie generation, like the 67, 68, going to like these outdoor festivals, and just, people come up to you, hey, try this, try that. And I was like, yeah, I'll take two of those. And it just fell into.
See, as someone who was born in
You know,
1981, I can't, because
I don't need to do it anymore.
when I came up in elementary school, the big push was the DARE program. With Ronald Reagan, the Just Say No Club. Drugs were bad. I can't even imagine
That was the backlash reaction to what we're talking about.
Yeah,
right
that
now.
was, yeah. Then there was, my mistake, I mean, I don't want to say that there was no STDs back then, but STDs weren't an issue.
They were,
right?
they
I
were
mean,
curable, basically.
Yeah, not as many things were, I mean, going on in this before the appearance of the HIV virus and all that, way before all that. So, I mean, as far as like the free love generation,
It was pretty much free.
Right,
So
you
that's
didn't
not
get
just-
more than you bargained for.
So that's
Whatever.
not hindsight. That really was.
That really took place.
That is so fantastic.
I remember I didn't have to start worrying about these things until maybe 83, 84 when herpes
Yes.
came to town. Before then, it was just, you know,
Oh.
Well, it started with was it Rock Hudson when he passed away. That's when they started discovering what that was all
well,
about.
that was later on.
I want to write a musical
Eighties.
called When Herpes Come to Town.
It was like early '80s.
That long ago.
I don't know what time. See, at time I can't tell you it's long. It's not. Everything in my mind is like now. Everything, even the past, is always now.
Well, put it this way, I know that the big thing to worry about up until maybe the mid-'80s was getting the girl pregnant.
Yeah, well,
Seriously, that, I mean, that's...
So isn't that always the
Yeah,
No, it's not, no,
That
give me a
now.
choice of
Yeah.
knocking up a bitch at AIDS.
Oh well, I see it. Or some syphilis, something like that. You know, give it a shot. Yeah, you know.
George just
I did have a situation up in Lake George with a waitress.
George just turned totally
I had to get the
gangster.
shots.
That's.
I'm just drawing an important distinction here between
Well, no.
social embarrassment and death. You know, that's...
No, I mean, it's
Well,
still a long time.
yeah.
Still gonna be tough on yourself. So you got the? Do we have the guitar?
I took this
We
first.
had some
I took the
technical
six.
difficulties.
Yeah, I took the 6 string off. I don't have the E on it, so I'm just gonna compensate for it. Just like my HPPD. It's called hallucinogen persisting perceptual disorder, and it's like I'm tripping all the time, but I compensate for it.
See, now that sounds like a fun. There's some diseases that sound like. That sounds like a fun disease to have, and I'm not making light
It's
of
a
your
free.
situation.
No, you're right though.
It's kind of like post-traumatic stress disorder, but cool.
Or like Tourette's.
Uh-huh.
You know, Tourette's
Because-
is another fantastic disease.
I'm in a constant state of altered state. So, but I'm living in the reality of what appears to be. So, you know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Herb Snurple on the Tony Jones Show, performing live for you.
This is the vision I had back in the 70s. I wrote a song about it. Oh, I see the pyramids way back in my mind. If I've never been there, how could these thoughts be mine? I dreamed of many places, and I dreamed I met you. I saw the clouds separate, and the lightning bolt came down, with your white band long hair, and with your white silk gown. I thought I knew you, I thought I knew your name. Tell me, what's your game? Money, money, I'm a rising boy from the sky.
Mr. Erp Snurple performing live for you. Let's go to another track, then we'll come back and wrap things up with the man himself. Right here on the Tony Jones Show, here are the Groovy Ghoulies with a song called Bring Her Back. 990 WBOB.com. I like that one. That one's cool. I don't think I've ever played that before.
Okay, we know your chemical influences were, your musical influences were what though? I'm hearing a lot of Yes.
Yes, Floyd, Hendrix. If you look, but see, this is, I usually plug in.
Go on,
Thank
you.
I usually plug in.
Stand and rise and walk.
Try to get the fight, you know?
Yeah.
Try to get a little more bluesy.
But I meant the feel, like the feeling of it, David.
Yes, like,
Because I used to listen a lot to the Yes songs. Why?
I bet this one here, right. Everybody thinks that's Roundabout, right?
Yeah.
But there I go.
No, but not that it all sounds like that. I'm just saying it feels like that.
You say, well, like Tom Grant goes, yeah, well, that was my generation.
No, I'm saying because I used to listen to it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I used to like to pass out to.
Now wait a minute, drinking pass it out or just anything?
Anything pass out.
There you go. There you go. That's like me. You know, I think I always thought somebody said, "Hey, one of these is good. One's good." You know, so
The hippie philosophy in a nutshell.
yeah, one's good too. Good to hear. So what? Ready to do another one?
Yeah, I think we should go. We got one more.
What if I could?
That's true. That really was the break between those days and plus the STDs.
Well, the
I don't
drums
think-
kept going. That's the thing with the 80s.
Because the money.
Yeah.
That's why.
The Groovy Ghoulies right here on the Tony Jones Show. Next week in this very studio, George, our legend, Mr. Chuckles the Clown. We're going to talk about Toys for Tots. He's got a big program coming up. November 13th on the program, Mr. Greg Garrett, political activist, mastermind behind Buy Nothing Day. Then November 20th, right here on the program, the punk rock stylings of the Doll Eyes. You want to keep it locked right here to the Tony Jones Show on your browser. Sunday nights, 7 p.m. We're here live. Live-ish. No, we're here live. But
The important thing is
I'm
we're
not
every
dead.
single week.
I'm I'm
Yeah,
usually
yeah.
just like so blown out by Sunday. But I think we're putting together a good show. We're having a good time, and I think that the folks really listening to the program today have got a real history lesson, modern history. Like if you could have a class that was history, hippie to hipster. That's what we had today on the program. That's why I want to ask you, Herb Snurple, after all these years playing, up and down the East Coast, doing it from rock to acoustic, after all these years, is it still fun?
It's the only thing that keeps me going. And in fact, it's good therapy.
Yeah, that's for sure.
When if I'm down, I grab the guitar, and that's why I decided to really start playing again. I was just in not a trance, but I was not going in reverse, but I wasn't going forward. I kind of in limbo. So thank you for the opportunity.
No.
Back to start back
Glad you could do it.
back in last winter when we first started.
Yeah, that's actually the first time we met was at a charity show for, unfortunately, our friends at the now defunct Feels Like Ohm in West Warwick, which was in response to the flooding that happened a couple of years ago. And Herb was nice enough to donate his performance, as did we and a bunch of bands. Everybody kind of came together through all different scenes. I mean, it was one of those days where you had a rapper, then you had an acoustic band, then you had the dude playing the piano, you had like a dude tap dancing, it's one of those days where the whole scene came together because they were personally affected by the flooding. And it's always good to see, and it's how crusty old punk rock guys meet acoustic guys.
And I'll tell you, another good thing is that, our guest this week has been a part of the scene longer than us even. And,
Yeah.
he still has a positive attitude toward it.
Yeah,
I mean, when was the last time we had, like, local musicians on the show?
yeah, and they're like, yeah.
Exactly. Many of which we've worked with personally.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, can I say, it depends on really what they're looking for with their music and with the life. If you have high expectations, you might say, but isn't every opportunity around kind of at that stage right now?
Well, it all depends on what your definition of making it is.
Exactly.
And to me, if you're still having fun, you're making it. But I don't know.
I'm surviving.
Plus getting a half-page spread in the Phoenix, don't forget.
Well, yeah, that helps.
Well, I give all my music away anyway. I'm not.
Yeah, I was just going to mention if people are more interested in your stuff, because the CD of yours that I have at home is actually like with a full band, kind of a full rock thing, as opposed to the acoustic that you usually play.
Although that was
You said you were doing some more recording too, so.
But that was actually it was not. But that was the imaginary band. That was
Okay.
it was just multi-tracking, one track at a time, jamming along with myself and as I go.
So you had the Erp Snurples.
Yes.
Erp and the Snurples.
My multiples, I guess. My multiple personalities, I guess.
And I gotta say too, for someone who's been playing, and maybe you can let folks know where to look these up, but for someone who's been playing, you've kind of stayed in the loop as far as technology goes, because you put up all kind of different videos with your music, right?
Yeah, I find it amazingly easy. But then again, I've always been a MacGyver. I've always had this knack for pushing the envelope with whatever I'm using to record with or whatever. So it just comes natural. But I mean, there's a lot of user-friendly programs.
That's the thing nowadays, I think, compared to maybe even just a few years ago. A lot of stuff is just plug and play or one button push and play.
Yeah.
Some people are intimidated by stuff like that, but I think
No, but if
maybe
you want to
your
tweak it,
experience.
they always
Yeah.
give you room to tweak it. If you like it.
So you want to give us strap on the guitar and give us another live one?
Okay. Now, I had a friend of mine wanted to buy the bass of this years ago, but I'm going to try it without that string. It's called Micromania. It's a story within a story, but it's also been dubbed Singing on a Cornflake. I ain't half as weird as some, but I'm weirder than some others. Sometimes I grew a beard just as long as I grew it. Hey, can you dig it? Can you get my point? Yes, I can dig it, and I get your point. Hey, come on over and join in the party. No matter if you're 13 or if you're 40. As long as you're not, maybe you are. And it's just like me, I get that way sometimes, I can only speak for myself, so I did don't have my moments. I had a moment one time when I was sitting on a cornflake, watching out for that spoon. Blueberries floating all around me. Got sugar on my knee. I did that guy I'm watching. Uh-oh, the spoon's coming after me. I'm so glad he drew, because he just set me free. I'm on his lap now, and his cat just pissed on me. I guess I better give up and go back to being Steve. It's just a chance you take when you can be what you want to be. It's just a chance you take when you can be what you want to be. Sorry, I had to compensate for that string. Do you see me watching? You think, or am I dreaming about existing? No, you're not dreaming. It's really happening. So go enjoy it. Live life, enjoy it. What a funky goof life can be. What a funky goof music can be. So we're using music for some good. And you know what? And beer when you can, and pass me a joint when you can. Oh, the beer here. Pass me a joint. Can you dig it? Get out. Ah, good luck.
The outside
Hey,
of our
you know what? I
stylings.
when I play, I start to get buzzed. Yeah, to be honest.
The outside of our stylings of Mr. Snurple. Herb, I want to thank you for swinging by. You've been probably one of my favorite guests of all times here today. We've covered the bases.
I think I've had an out-of-body experience.
Yeah, no, I feel like
Do you feel it? No, do you feel the energy?
Yes.
That's why when I walked in, the cat would run away. But
Yeah,
not afraid of me, just with energy.
that the fact that, you know, he thought you were gonna bang it. This is way off the.
She's not that cute. I do like my women though.
No, the cat had a premonition that string was going to break.
Yeah, thought you were gonna take a whiskey.
Yeah, you have to nah.
Herb Snurple, thank you for swinging by. Look him up on Facebook. Always a pleasure. Thank you, George. Thank you for holding down the fort.
Can't wait to be back
This
here again.
evening, we will see you all next Sunday night right here on the Tony Jones Show. Have a fantastic week. Don't forget, no shave November. Let those razors rust. Have a great week.
Namaste.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Hey, that's fun. Oh, anyway, what did I do with that? Okay, anyway, I have no idea where it went. What the fuck is... Didn't that thing go flying? I gotta get, you know what? I'm gonna get one. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna get another anyways. I have one somewhere stashed away.
I don't see it on the tape.
Yeah, it's real. It's somewhere. Well, if it's not here, it's somewhere else. Right? It's always somewhere, but where?
It's in one of the other universes.
In the void. It's in the void. You know what? I remember. Yeah,
That is an awesome road case.
Yeah, you're gonna love this one, right? I shot myself in the butt one time, at like 78, 79, because I had all figured out the theory of the universe and the void and all that. Oh yeah. Man. Oh, don't worry. So it was already open. It was already popped. But yeah, after I left the Buddhist, the Zen temple that they had over in Quickly Street.
Oh, yeah.
Before they moved up to Cumberland,
Yeah,
I was sitting there and they were like doing this chance and I was like, she was freaked out there. So I had to talk with him after. I told him my theory about the cosmic void. He's like, wow, who told you that? Told me. So, there you go. Here's my rotate. In fact, you know where I had this, and I had my aunt, and I had a thing. One of the little old man cots. And the other day I went to Davis Square, the big the train, the red line, and just barely made it back. So this was fun. For what? For a half hour, 45 minutes set? Get that.
It's not a good two together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize how, I don't feel like that enough. I really am. I wanna be 60 next year.
Oh, really?
Don't at all. No, especially when I take my medicine.
I wouldn't have said that. Actually, there's people happy to raise the at 60. You know, it's the other way around.
But I meet people all the time that's like, that school and I'm like, God, they changed them. They go, even changed it.
Well, that's because the difference is music.
And I used to do the drugs, the mind stuff, not the body stuff.
Well, that
I
too.
did that too.
Well, that too, but it's the music that keeps people young, looking, acting.
And then I was never a smoker. Drink, yeah. I think I'd be buggy already.
I think with the young kids, everybody wants to be a martyr. Maybe, you know.
Oh, I had a Messiah going like, because it was modern. Are you kidding me? I'm like, I just think I figure it out. You know, I mean, it's part of the syndrome, ain't it?
What do you mean moderate and destroy it?
Like, the sacrifice.
Yeah, that would be, you know.
Well, I mean, kind of like the church of Bible, they did the ones want to blow and something. You know that? Did you know that's part of the ant culture? The whole idea of blowing oneself up to save their species or whatever.